Welcome back to Poppy's Corner. We're getting ready for turkey season. We're going to do a little modification on our shotgun. The last thing it was used for was dove shooting. And we're going to get it ready for turkey time. This is a Benelli Super Black Eagle 2. Really nice soft shooting 12 gauge semi-automatic, which show you to start with. It's clear, nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine. This was used for doves, so it's got a plug in it. So the first thing we're going to do is get this plug out. Trying to be careful not to let this recoil spring get away from us. It's under a fair bit of tension. Get this cap unscrewed and there it comes. Now, because a dove is a migratory bird, you have to have your shotgun plugged or otherwise incapable of firing more than 3 rounds. Turkey is a native bird, so you can put whatever magazine you would like on it. I keep a little bag handy to throw my spare parts in. They'll go back in the bottom of the desk somewhere. And if I want to swap them back out, I have it labeled Benelli. So we get that out of the way. And we're going to put an extended magazine on, magazine tube, that is. Takes a little longer spring. So we'll drop that in. Then we're going to bring the magazine tube down over the spring, being careful not to let it get away to either side. And when you get that straight, lined up, just screw it down to replace the original magazine cap. When you get it all the way on, it's got a little ball and spring detent. I can feel it right there as it's starting to get tight, and that kind of helps it from backing loose. You don't put a wrench on this or anything, just do it by hand. And it comes with a sling swivel. You simply slide that down over the barrel. And over your magazine tube. I like to bring it down about that far. It's just a nice place for it. And we'll tighten that up enough. Just where it's going to help support this magazine tube. And I can attach a sling here if I'd like. The next thing we're going to do is change this choke tube out. Right now, it's got, I'm going to say, probably a modified choke in it for shooting doves. We want something that's going to hold a better pattern. Oop, almost lost it there. So we're going to take this one out and get a little bit of this slick breech plug and nipple grease. This is mainly used for black powder guns. I find it works well for these choke tubes also. We'll just put a little bit of it on there. And we'll drop that in, move it around a little bit, get our grease evenly distributed. We're going to tighten that by hand and add just a little bit of torque to it, just so it'll stay in place. We'll wipe off any excess grease. So we could take this right now and go hunting, but Poppy gonna put a scope on this thing. It's a nice little red dot sight. It comes from TruGlo. They have one marketed as the Gobble Stopper. This is the same scope as your Gobble Stopper. Those flip up caps. Which are on there pretty snug. You can turn it this way for a red dot and circle, or you can turn it the other way for a green dot. I don't know if you can pick that up through the camera, but that's green and it's bright. And if we want to go to red, you can either continue turning it, or you can back up and go the other direction with it. So depending on the light level outdoors, you can adjust the intensity. This is on 2. Anyway, we had this on last year for spring turkey season, and we took it off. This reticle, it has a dot in the center with a circle around it, and I may be mistaken, but I think that circle represents something like 20 or 24 inches at 20 or 25 yards, something in that neighborhood. So it's not very hard at all to sight it in. If your rifle is shooting a nice tight pattern, or your shotgun, you're shooting a nice tight pattern, I usually have it on the money with 2 shots. And I'll talk about more about that in just a second, as I figure out the orientation of this. And that's where it fits. Now, I like to use just a little drop of this blue Loctite. Not much. If you get just a little bit on your finger, that should be enough for all 4 screws. That's just going to help keep it snug, as this shotgun's going to be shooting a 3-inch magnum. With 2 ounces of number 6 shot. I'm going to just start these screws with one of my Wheeler screwdrivers, and then we'll talk about torque on these scope bases. And you always want to use a little of this blue Loctite on your scope bases. It's a medium Loctite. It does not require heat to remove it. It just takes a little extra force to remove it because it sets up in there somewhat like fingernail polish would. We'll get those close. This is a Wheeler fat wrench, which the fat stands for Firearms Accurizing Torque Wrench, and it's in inch pounds. It comes with a little chart here that shows you number 6, number 8, number 10 screws, and how much torque commonly used. And you can measure your screw diameter. If you can't just look at it and tell, well, that's a 6, that's an 8, or a 10. Nice little dial caliper from Franklin Armory. You just turn it on there, bring it out, put your screw in there and run it up against it. And I measured these earlier, and I came in right about there, 0.161, 0.160. So that determined to me that this is indeed a number 8 screw. So it requires 28 to 30 inch-pounds of torque. So to get there, we pull out on the base of the fat wrench. And as you can see now, there's a little indicator coming up. It's white with a black line, and this is calling for 28 to 30 inch-pounds. If you ever thought you could get a scope base put on by hand and get all the screws the same, you should try it sometime. Tighten all your screws, torque them evenly as you can, and then put one of these on it, and the results will probably surprise you. This gives you a very accurate torque on each screw, and you simply turn it until it clicks. Do you hear that little click? When you get to 30 inch-pounds, there it is. That one was almost ready to go right there. I'm gonna trade my bit out with the one from my Wheeler set. I think it fits just a little better. There's my click I wanted to hear. There's my click I wanted to hear. There's that. There's that. So, quite simple to torque your base on. From there, we'll see if this will slide on. You may have to loosen the screws on it a good bit. Get that to open up a little for me. I may have to loosen it even more than that. Maybe I won't have to take them all the way off. I will say, when I stored it with the nuts all the way down, so it so I wouldn't lose anything on it. And of all things to help me, there went one of my nuts off the back. So now that we've got that on there, we'll get this nut back in place, run those down a little bit. And what I'll do here, just so we can see it a little better, so I'm going to turn the entire vise around. Even though this rifle or shotgun's empty, I won't be pointing it at myself. Now, you have two nuts here to tighten to lock this down where you want it. I think I would like it a little further back, right about there. With that, this is about a T15, and it's like a number 8 size also, so it'll take the same torque value, about 30 inch-pounds. And I like to go back and forth, because sometimes as you tighten the first one, the second one will loosen a little. There. There we have it. Ready for turkey season? Almost. Next up, we'll go out back to our little range and set up at about 20 yards on a paper target. Fire one shot, we'll find the center of the pattern, draw about a 20-inch circle. We'll have our shotgun sitting in a rest, so we'll put our point of aim back on the original bullseye that we shot at, and if our main cluster of shot is off to the left and down, we'll just adjust that red dot over to the left and down while keeping the shotgun steadily positioned. We'll just bring the dot over to the center of the shot cluster, and it should be sighted in. We'll fire one more shot to make sure that we're hitting in the center of the circle. But as far as the indoor work, we're done. Now if the rain will cooperate, it's out back to the range we go, and we'll see what this baby will do. All right, we made it back out to the range. We're going to see how close we've got our TruGlo Gobble Stopper sight set. In the meantime, I've got a new little set of hearing protectors. These are pretty cool from Surefire. Red for your right, clear for your left. You can pull these plugs out of the center and you can hear talking, and you can shoot something like maybe a 22 or whatever without any problem. Or you can put the plugs in and it shuts down a whole lot of the noise on the range. They seem to fit in there fairly snugly. And they're really cutting down on what I have coming in. You also want to set them. These may not look like it, but these are hardened glass. They're safety glasses. I've set this up at 30 yards. I have an old Bushnell Yardage Pro 1000 rangefinder. It's very accurate, does a good job. I have a smaller one, fits in your pocket better, made by Simmons, but it's lost somewhere in the gun room for now. What I have today is some Federal 3-inch Magnum turkey load number 6 shot, $15.99 a box. So you're looking at, we can add tax, about $1.75 a shot. I was looking for some TSS, which is supposed to be the new best thing going. Couldn't find any. You know, we're in a little ammo crisis. And happy St. Patty's Day. I'm gonna put one in there. This Benelli has a little extra button here you have to push to be able to chamber around. I'm set up just about center on the silhouette target there. My circle covers the outside of the target. If I were at 20 yards, it'd probably be all on it. I just thought I'd give it a try here at 30, just to see if there was anything close to a return to zero from when I had this red dot on here before and when I put it on now. Got it sitting in a lead sled. You can put a 25-pound barbell weight in here and it really takes a lot of the wallop out of it. In fact, you can put 2 in there if you'd like. Or you can put sand bags or bags of lead shot, anything to put some weight up here to take the kick out of it. But it does a pretty good job just like it is. So we're gonna give it a try. The safety on this one is behind the trigger. And we are right on the money. Well, it rocked the target pretty good. So, as you can see, I put 1 round in it. Chamber's open. I'm gonna walk down range and see what it did. We hit a little bit low. Need to come up maybe 6 or 8 inches. So, but it held a very dense pattern. I doubt you can see my mark, but I marked it with a Sharpie, kind of center of the mass, and it's just a little bit low. So to the left brings this up. Instead of just dialing, guessing, counting clicks, I'm gonna try to hold this shotgun steady. I'm gonna aim at the original point of aim, the center of the silhouette. And I'm gonna turn this in the direction of up, which should make the red dot go down to point of impact. Once I've done that, I'll fire one more round and we'll see if we're right on the money. We're real close now. Another thing I like about this scope, these little caps that cover your adjustments have a little rubber keeper. So when you take that cap off, you don't have to worry about setting it down and not finding it. It's not going anywhere. So I'm thinking we're going to turn this to the left to give us the direction that we want. So to get there, we're going to have to get back down on target. That's got us just about centered. This little task is a lot easier to do if you have two people. If you have one to turn the dial, yes sir. I think that's going to put us right where we need to be. So I'm going to lay one shell in there. We'll put our safety back on and get that round in there. Get the correct pair of glasses back on. Point of aim. And we really rocked it that time. Once again, clear, bolt back. Don't ever walk down range in front of a loaded gun. You know it's empty, you're good to go. So, if you can see, shot number one, center of mass was down here. I brought it up a little bit and got my center of mass a little higher. That looks like it would do a good job on the turkey. Looks pretty impressive from that side too. Now just because we're all set up out here and having fun, I have a big steel silhouette set up down there. A little to the left of my wooden target stand. Make sure we're on safe. Gonna load that back up. And I'm gonna give one shot to the steel plate just to confirm point of impact. I'll be holding the dot just about center. And that looks pretty close there, so we'll have at it. I don't know how well you can see from here with the camera, but I had a fresh coat of white paint on that, and it lit it up. Almost the whole load on target. So I wouldn't be scared to shoot 40, 50 yards easily with that combination. I'm pretty impressed with it. But that is a pretty heavy load. I said it's a Federal Premium. It has copper plated shot. It has something called a flight control wad. So apparently that's supposed to give you a little better pattern, tighter pattern, and it seems to be endorsed by the National Wild Turkey Federation. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for Poppy. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed seeing that. And it's cloudy. I would hang out here and try to have a little more fun, but I better get this stuff inside before we get wet. So thanks again. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. And if you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button. Like or share it. You can share me on Facebook. You can share me on the internet, different websites, whatever you'd like to do. You've got my permission. I've joked a couple of times and said I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, while some people are trying to get 500,000. Just trying to get up to about 100, maybe some more. And that's going to be it for today. So y'all stay tuned. There'll be more to come. Thanks for watching.